Madam President, I know as my Deputy Director in charge of Human Resources, but here she's the chairperson of the Africa Public Sector Human Resource Practitioners Network Kenya chapter, senior government officials, resource persons present, human resource leaders, partners, great people, good morning. First, let me start by apologizing. I was told this morning that you are transferred from your comfort zone to this noisy place. First and foremost, let me say it here, that we are all leaders. There's no leader who is important than another leader. That must be made very clear. Why you are moved here, I don't want to, condemn my people, but it is wrong. You ought to have stayed in your place in the first place. It is wrong, I'll tell you for free. I mean, because you came first, you stayed there, then all of a sudden, some group booked, I don't know when, now then you became a target, a victim. For that, I take responsibility and I sincerely apologize. Kama ningejua hamungetoka hapo, lakini niliambiwa wakati mulitoka. But let me sincerely apologize because this place is noisy. It's not conducive for such great people, especially the head of human resource. I sincerely apologize for that because it's wrong and it can't be correct. So for that, I sincerely apologize. But let me say that today, marks the conclusion of the highly engaging and strategically important conference that you had for the past 4 days, today being the 5th day, that has brought together such a very powerful leaders, that is the head of the human resource in our institution, committed to advancing public sector transformation across Africa. Again, that is important because this is not just about Kenya, this is about Africa. Let me appreciate the role of the human resource leaders as part of the transformation of the public sector, both in Kenya and also across Africa. You play a great role. That is the leadership. Sometimes, and I ask, in an institution, if you look at an organizational structure, why do we have director finance and then we don't have director human resource? Because we only, talk about a resource which is called financial resource, and yet the people who are critical in generating this resource are called human resource. How come you don't have a director in some institution? Some institution you have. How come we have director in charge of finance and then we don't have director in charge of human resource? I think those are some of the things probably that we need now to take up that. Therefore, delighted this morning to join you at this closing ceremony of the 2nd annual conference of the Africa Public Sector Human Resource Practitioners Network, the Kenya chapter, which is a great progress. And I want to celebrate my head of human resource for being, a champion of a human resource issues, not just in Kenya School of Government, but also in Kenya and also in Africa. And for that, CHRP Florence Wanguku, I want to say congratulations, but please continue with that wonderful spirit. Human resource is very important. That's why you, as head of human resource, and I've mentioned this, if you look at the word leader, L-E-A-D-E-R, describe the heads of the human resource for this reason. One, if you look at leader, the word, and then pick each of those letters, Leader, it describes you in so many ways. And that is why leadership probably must be then defined from the human resource perspective and who you should be as that leader heading the human resource. If you look at L, then it says listen. If you just pick the word L, I mean the letter L is listen. You know, there's a Chinese proverb that says that God has given you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Please use them in that proportion. Listen, 2/3, and speak to people 1/3 of your time. That is being a great leader. And that is human resource, because you're supposed to listen to everybody who comes to your office, isn't it? There are people who comes with problems. There are people who are not mentally fit. They want to be listened to. There are people who have a lot of challenges at workplace. They want to be listened to. You are that listener that you want to get as part of the journey of the transformation. Because you are a leader. Irrespective of the placement of your title, you are that leader. Whether you are assistant, whether you are deputy, whether you are director, irrespective of the name, the nomenclature, you are that leader. Listen. Please listen to the staff of your institution. Even if somebody says whatever that they want to say, listen to them. Don't judge them. You know, don't chase them. Listen to their madness, to their history, to their lot of things that they want to share with you. Let them be. That is the L in that leadership, in that leader. E in that leader is, E stand for ego. You know, some of us in a leadership position, we carry that, you know, aspect called ego. Then E means egoless. Please carry this position, less ego. That is why I call it egoless. Don't lead using your title. Don't tell them who you are. Let them appreciate your position. Remember the listening aspect of it. God of grace is the one who put you there. There's a reason. And there's a time for everybody. You know, there's a season for all of us. Even God said, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And so it will happen for all of us. Today you are assistant director, tomorrow you are deputy, tomorrow you are director. It's growth simply because you led human resource department without using your title. And that is a quality of a human resource leader, because you are that leader. A in that leader is agility. Agility is the speed of making a decision. Human resource, the agility of you making that decision is important. Speed. How fast? Discipline should not take a whole year for it to be disposed unless there are some situation and issues attached to it. Promotion should not take a whole year for it to be processed. Speed, you are important. And therefore then agility is what we should speak to. And that is critical. D is determination. D is discipline. You must be disciplined in terms of, you know, what to release, how to release, what to share, what not to share, confidentiality. Because you are the custodian of a very critical information in that institution. Discipline is paramount, is important. And that is you, because you are a leader. And that is important. And again, E in a leader, again, I talked about egoless, but this time is empathy. Empathize. Empathize with the people you are leading, the people, the entire institution, because it's all about the human resource. Empathize. Be in their situation. Be in their shoes so that you get to understand. People have a lot of issues in their head. Please don't judge them. Appreciate them. Celebrate them. Understand them. So that then You don't judge, but you listen. You empathize. You make a decision with the speed, and that is important. R is respect. That is where I will stop. Respect how you listen to people, what you do with them, how you do them, that is important. So therefore then, allow me from the onset to commend the leadership of Network, the patron, the Executive Council, speakers, partners, and all delegates for convening what has been a highly engaging, forward-looking, and strategically significant conference of the time. We are today operating in a period of unprecedented transformation, technological disruption, demographic shifts, evolving workforce, and the expectation and changing citizens' demand and increasing institutional complexity, which are fundamentally reshaping the public administration and the institution. Global evidence suggests that nearly half of today's global network and the workforce will require a significant reskilling, retooling, upskilling in the coming years, reinforcing the need for institutions to reinvest, therefore then, in continuous learning and future-ready capabilities in your department. For the public service, this has become immediate governance issue, an imperative that must be addressed. The question, therefore, then is whether our institutions are sufficiently prepared to lead and manage this transformation. It is therefore clear from where I sit that institutions that exclude human resource leadership from strategic decision-making risks limiting their own transformation capacity. HR must sit where the policy decisions are made, where reforms conversations happen, and where institution futures are shaped, because you are the leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference has reinforced that institutional performance and transformation cannot be sustained without values, without ethics, and without trust. Systems alone do not sustain institutions. People, culture, and leadership do. As HR leaders, you are custodian of institutional culture, ethical leadership, performance systems, succession planning, and more importantly, ultimately, public trust. This is particularly important because where values weaken, institutions weaken. Where integrity declines, legitimacy erodes. We have also been challenged to think deeply about disruption and the growing influence of artificial intelligence in governance and public administration. I think you went through that aspect. AI has presented an immense opportunity for public service transformation, but the need for responsible governance cannot also be overstated. Therefore, we must urgently fully embrace AI and utilize it responsibly in an era where intelligence itself is becoming digital. Great people, I am encouraged that this conference has moved beyond dialogue to action through validated resolutions presented this morning and collective commitments that you agreed also this morning. The communique emerging from this conference should therefore serve as a blueprint reform and a shared accountability framework whose value will ultimately be measured through implementation. To sustain momentum and ensure accountability, I challenge the chapter to use the next year's conference as an opportunity to take stock of progress made against this commitment. The true measure of success will not be the quality of our resolution, but the extent to which this resolution translates into measurable institutional change. As therefore then, I conclude, permit me, therefore then, to challenge all HR leaders present this morning that the future public service requires courageous leaders willing to challenge the status quo, outdated systems, embrace innovation, strengthen ethical governance, and shape institutions that are adaptive, resilient, and people-centered. Ultimately, national transformation will be given by systems, by institutions that recognize human capital as a strategic instrument of statecraft, and by leaders bold enough to shape the future. Great people, on behalf of the Kenya School of Government, on my own behalf, I want to take this opportunity to reiterate our commitment to working with you to realize public sector transformation. This we will continue to do through leadership development, executive education, AI and digital skills training, governance capacity strengthening, and strategic partnership that will build institutional capability across Kenya and across Africa. Through the Regional Center of Competency for AI and digital skilling, we have already begun strengthening the institutional readiness through the highly specialized program on digital transformation and AI for public sector leaders. I encourage all of you to uptake the program and ensure your officers are also available to partake the program. In addition, KSG will keenly look at the other areas that then you've already identified this morning, I think through this communique, where we can collaborate with the network, including the skills and the competencies of the public sector to improve the service delivery. As I conclude, I encourage all of you to ensure the commitment made here, please translate them into a meaningful institutional reform, and that the ideas shared here become a measurable action. And may this conference continue serving as a catalyst for building ethical, resilient, agile, innovative, efficient, effective, and future-ready public institutions across Africa. Again, as I conclude, I want also to extend an invite to all of you here for our next. We have a Kenya association. Other than this great, network, we also at the Kenya School of Government, we have a Kenya Association for Public Administration and Management. You are public administrators. Other than being also a head of human resource, we have a conference in June in Zanzibar. So I'm sure you have all received a circular from Head of Public Service. Please, it will be a great conversation for East Africa administrators and the human resource officers. Please, if you get time, attend that. With those many remarks, I want to also take this opportunity to appreciate all of you here, your institution, yourself. I know HR is one of the busiest departments, and the individuals manning that department, they're also the busiest leaders. Out of that busy schedule, you took time, 5 days out of that busy schedule to be here with us, and in itself is a commitment. And that, again, we want to appreciate you, we want to celebrate you, we want to ask you to continue collaborating with the Kenya School of Government. Continue, I'm sure all of you here must have participated or attended some of our program. Please continue attending, including our new program called a Leadership Program for National Transformation, which is a new program. Your program ndio itakupeleka Singapore. If you want to go to Singapore, then enroll for that program. Even at personal level. You know, this Singapore is, there is Singapore at personal level, Singapore at departmental level, Singapore at institutional level, Singapore at national level. And so, please, you are invited for that program. And then finally, this year, between 6th and 10th of July, we'll be celebrating the 100 years of the Kenya School of Government since the establishment of the school. 100 good years. Because this school was established 1925, 26. So we'll be celebrating that wonderful transformational journey in the public sector this year. You are all invited. His Excellency President will be the chief guest. We have series of programs within that week. Please plan to attend that so that you celebrate with us that 100 years journey. With those many words, it is therefore my honor and privilege to officially declare the second annual conference of the Africa Public Sector Human Resource Leaders Practitioners Network Kenya chapter officially closed, and may our good God continue to bless you, continue to guide you through your leadership journey. Keep knocking, keep asking, keep progressing, keep changing. You are God masterpiece. You are blessed. You are favored. You are wonderful. You are a transformative leader. Please know that. Otherwise, thank you so much. May our good God continue blessing you. Asanteni na Mungu awabariki sana.